What's gross? This one's gross. That's what's gross. Ew. What do you mean ew?
Sticker. It's gave you.
I made it to a heart.
Yep.
You pretty
Wiggle
much
your
have
fingers.
to get,
Yeah, like this. Look it.
you have to get pretty far up in there.
Just go like.
Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. We are outside on the porch today. It is windy, so let's hope that this doesn't mess up the volume too much on the camera, okay? We have something exciting that we're going to start sharing. So we are going to have a new series, and this is the first video in the series, and we're going to call it Farmstead Financial Fridays. So every Friday we're going to have a new video go live, and we're going to talk finances with the homestead, because you know, you have everyone talking about your budgeting journey and all your, you know, that kind of stuff with your day-to-day life, but there's not a lot of people that discuss their homesteading expenses and financials. And there's some things I'm not going to share, obviously, for personal reasons, but I think that there's a lot that could be shared that could be helpful to other people in the homesteading community. I know when we first started our homesteading journey years ago, it was frustrating because we didn't know what the average cost was for a purebred Nigerian dwarf goat. Now I have a whole little herd of them, but we didn't know the cost, so we didn't know if we were getting ripped off or not. And you know, a lot of people didn't like to discuss that. If you asked them, they took offense to it. And I just feel like a lot of it should be more open. It's supposed to be like a community, right? So we're gonna start discussing financials on the homestead every Friday on our porch. Let's do them on the porch, because I mean, why not, right? It's a beautiful little porch. It's a great sunny day out here, so we're gonna dive in, okay? Today's video, the first video, we're actually gonna discuss our grocery budget. And when I told my husband that I was gonna film this, he was a little skeptical. He's like, "You're gonna tell the world where our groceries are?" And I'm like, "Yep, I totally am. I'm gonna do it." So here we are, we're gonna discuss it. And I'm gonna discuss certain points that are important in our grocery budget because it has to do with our homestead. So it all coincides, trust me when I tell you that. So let's go ahead, dive in. I wrote some notes on an envelope so that I remember what I have to tell you and the exact dollar amounts for a couple items, but yeah, so let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so first up, I need to preface this whole video by saying, yes, we have a mini herd of Nigerian dwarf goats. We have one that is currently in milk, and she does not give us very much milk a day. We get a half a quart of milk a day. And so right now, her half a quart of milk goes to her offspring. So we have a little doeling and a little buckling, and the half a quart of milk that we get a day currently goes to those two babies. And so we're not at the point where we have extra milk for us and to make cheese and all that fun things that, you know, goat's milk can do. The main purpose, we actually got goats. So I may have Nigerian dwarf goats. I may be milking a goat multiple times a day, but I do not have enough milk yet to supplement my grocery budget with it. I cannot wait for those days, trust you and me, but we're not there yet. And then we do have chickens that lay eggs. So, you know, we're gonna get into a video another day about feeding our livestock, but anyway, so we do get eggs from our chickens that we have here. Another thing to preface is that we do raise our own meat chickens and our own meat turkeys. We raise both of those ourselves here on the homestead. That's just something that is important to us and our family. All three of our kids get involved as well. So yeah, so we raise poultry ourselves here on our homestead. We outsource our beef. We actually have friends that raise a beef for us. We get a new beef once a year because not only do we not really have the space to raise a beef, but that's not something that's on either one of our bingo cards. It's not something that, you know, I'm gonna try to figure out a way to do it on my property, and my husband's the same way. You know, if we had more space, maybe, but I don't know. It's just something that neither one of us are feeling drawn to. So we have friends that do it. So we get our beef once a year from our friends who raise it. We still pay for it, but need to preface all that before we get into the budget. So the actual budget we spend for our family of 5 in southern Ontario. We have 3 children. We have a 6-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 12-year-old, and then myself and my husband. And our monthly grocery budget is $750 a month. There's a lot to unfold here with this budget because it's not a cut and dry black and white budget. Our grocery budget includes all of our toiletries, all of our cleaning products, you know, all of that fun stuff, and then obviously like our food. But So shampoo, toothpaste, deodorant, laundry soap, floor cleaner. Actually I use a lot of vinegar, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so it includes a lot of things. So it's not just food in our grocery budget. And I think that's the most miscommon conception that people think of when they think of grocery budget. They think it's just food, when a lot of grocery budgets actually include a lot of other things as well. So like toilet paper, paper towels. So our monthly grocery budget is $750. The first thing that gets taken off our grocery budget every single month is flour. So we actually order our flour once a month from a flour mill. It's about maybe a 2-hour drive from us, maybe, give or take a little bit. I'm gonna link their information down below. So it's Arva Flour Mills, and if I'm not mistaken, they are actually the oldest flour mill that's operated by water in all of Canada. So they're really amazing. Their flour is amazing quality. I do not like to pay shipping on it, don't get me wrong. Sometimes when we're driving by, and my grandfather drives out that way quite often, you know, we grab it then so we don't pay shipping, but regardless, we buy flour. So our flour cost is approximately $45 a month, and I included shipping in that cost. Shipping's usually about $10. So I included that in this just for, you know, generalization purposes. So sometimes we don't pay that, sometimes we do, but anyway, about $45 a month goes to flour alone. We cook a lot from scratch. We like a good quality flour. That's something that's very important to us. The next big expense that comes from our, well, I guess that one wasn't too big, but the next big expense that comes from our grocery budget is our milk order. So our milk, like I said, our goats are not up to that standard yet where we can get enough milk from them. And so we do go through a bunch of dairy a month. And we actually order our milk directly from a dairy farm here in Ontario. They're actually located in Belmont, Ontario. The farm is called Misty Glen. They're amazing people to deal with. So we have a local market that's maybe 20 minutes from us who actually we have a very good relationship with. They carry our honey because I'm a beekeeper by trade. So they sell my honey there, and they actually order the milk in, and so I go pick it up from them. So our milk comes in 1 liter glass bottles. I'll put a picture here for you to see. 1 liter glass bottles, and we go through, we get 24 liters a month. Out of the 24 liters a month, we usually get about 4 liters of that worth of chocolate milk, and it's so good, so good. So our milk per month is $146, which is crazy. The reason we prioritize this specific milk into our budget is because this is the closest to raw milk that we can actually purchase here. We don't have a friend that we can get some raw milk from, nothing like that. I know someone's gonna ask, we do not. So this is the closest to raw milk that you can legally buy, and they process it just to what they have to. So it's minimally processed, which is fantastic. It's, you know, beautiful. It has nice thick cream lines, which is amazing, amazing. We love it. But $146 a month, and with the $146 a month, we do get a deposit back. So we pay a deposit for the glass bottles. So once we return those bottles, you know, we get our deposit back. Each deposit of a bottle is $2. So we pay $48 a month. No, 12, 24, yeah, $48 a month on the deposit alone. So if you were to deduct that or put that $48 back in our budget, you know, that's not a make or break. So yeah, that's our milk. That's a big chunk of our budget. And then the next chunk in our budget is cheese. We don't have the dairy to be able to make all of our own cheeses yet. Knock on some wood, it's coming soon, folks. So there is a local cheese place actually in Windsor, Ontario, and I go into Windsor for work once a week. So I will stop by there, you know, once a month to pick up some cheese. It's called Galati Cheese. Amazing. They make their cheese right there on site. It is amazing quality. You will not get better, in my opinion, unless you make it yourself. But we spend approximately $50 a month on cheese alone, which kind of sounds like a lot, but then doesn't sound like a lot at the same time. So the cheese cost is mostly what we purchase is actually like this big massive brick and it's like $25 approximately, $30 approximately. It's a massive brick of mozzarella cheese that they make fresh there. And we buy this big brick and we shred it ourselves at home, and we use it for pizza, anything you use shredded cheese for, right? And then sometimes we'll pick up some old cheddar cheese and some feta, goat cheese, because they're our favorites. So those are kind of our big expenses that come out of our budget, grocery budget, every month no matter what. So then that would leave us, with the deposit from the milk bottles going back into the budget, that leaves us $557 a month for the rest of our groceries, toiletries, stuff like that. Which we don't use all of that every month, and I really want to stress that out. We give ourselves a high budget because we believe in quality foods. Whatever is left, we have a separate account for our grocery money. Whatever is left stays there. I will talk about this one in another video, but what's left over is what helps fund our beef a year that we get. So, on our homestead, we grow a lot of our own fruits and vegetables, and you know, we do a lot of canning and preserving, and so there's not a whole lot of that kind of stuff that we need to purchase essentially from the store. So there's always a large chunk left over at the end of the month. We like having a larger budget for the fact that, like I said, you never know, first off. It's great when there's holidays and you're entertaining people, and we have that extra room in the budget where we can splurge on some extra snacks for entertaining, that kind of stuff. We do cook from scratch, so there are some ingredients that we do buy. We buy a lot more dry ingredients to have on hand. So like we buy our oats in bulk, and that's usually like a $50 bag. It will last us a while, but you know, things like that. So there's a lot more that break down into it. But as a general consensus, that is our budget. That is what we spend. We grow a lot of our own things. Oh, in another video, I will have a breakdown about growing our own food too financially, and if it's worth it and all that. But I just thought we'd start this series off with a grocery budget. Pretty plain and simple, an easy one to discuss. If you're nosy, that's cool. It's awesome. Anyway, friends, I hope that that video was somewhat, you know, entertaining or useful. I personally always find it great to watch videos of where people discuss their grocery budgets from different parts of the world and different countries, different provinces, different states. It's so cool because it's neat to see different, you know, what's the word that I'm looking for? The different cost of living. It varies everywhere, right? So it's kind of interesting to see. Like, I'm in Southern Ontario. Our cost of living is very high here, unfortunately, but we have friends in Northern Ontario, Eastern Ontario, and theirs is completely different than ours. So like, it's so fascinating to see. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're nosy and you just want to see what we're up to on our homestead, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, friends. And don't forget, every Friday we're going to be doing one of these Financial Friday videos. So until next time, guys, bye.